Hello, you goofballs. Today we're going to be rating locations in Marvel Snap based on the vibes, while I try to record a video of me climbing with an extremely goofy deck. So that should be out tomorrow, and in the meantime, this should placate you. Enjoy. So, what do we mean when we say the vibes? Well, we're going to be rating them based on three factors. One, how thematic they are internally. Two, how thematic they are externally. And three, how much I want to chill there. Now, all of these are obviously extremely subjective, but take it with an additional grain of salt because, as I said, I don't really watch a lot of Marvel content. I don't read comics. I don't really engage with the content at all. So this is just the vibes. But it does give me the opportunity to talk about theming and the fantasy and the lore, which is cool, and I really enjoy that. So just so we're all clear, most of what I know about comic books in general comes from the YouTube channel Comic Tropes and friends who info dump at me. That's it. So we're gonna get into it. Hey, D from the future here, hiding the results of the tier list so you don't get spoiled. Just adding this in editing because I didn't get to do it at the beginning. But if you like my content, I request that you like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. It helps me know what's resonating with people, and it helps me just reach a new audience that might also enjoy this content. So thank you so much. We're shooting for 100, and we are well on our way to getting there. I appreciate you so much. Enjoy this shitpost. Asgard. Asgard is the first one. I know it's a Thor thing. I don't know that, but I'm pretty sure, because Asgard is like a Thor thing. Do you draw, if you're winning this location, you draw 2 cards on turn 4. Thor shuffles Mjolnir in on turn 3, and then if you draw 2 cards, you're likely to draw Mjolnir. So that's internally, that's pretty cool. That's kind of thematic. Externally, I have no effing idea if Thor draws cards in the Marvel universe or Asgard draws cards. I don't know. But it is a city made of gold with rainbows, so it's got to be at least a B for this queer person. All right, this is gonna have to be pretty quick. As you can see, there's a lot of locations. I don't even think this is all of them. I actually didn't confirm, but it doesn't look like Collapsed Mine is here. And oh, that sucks because I wanted to talk about Collapsed Mine because I have beef with the Marvel Snap team. All right, Atlantis. If you only have 1 card here, it gets +5 power. Internally, all of the cards that seem like they're fish have that ability, right? Namor, the Orca, Atumin. I don't know. I don't own these cards. I own the one that everyone owns. They all have the same ability, so that's cool, right? Fish people don't work together. Is that a thing in the comics? Not really sure. 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea was a cool set of media properties. It's only a C. It's a C for Under the Sea. Okay. Adelan, on turn 4, shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 3 cards. This is instantly a D because I always shuffle my Mr. Negative and then don't get it back. And I hate it. All right, Avengers Compound. On turn 5, all cards must be played here. There's no internal consistency. Oh, also Adelan, I don't know what comic that's from, so I can't tell if there's any consistency anywhere. Avengers Compound. There's no internal consistency because, like, none of the Avengers... Professor X has a turn 5 ability and, like, Daredevil, but neither of them are, like, Avengers, right? I don't think. External consistency, also no idea, not sure at all, and it doesn't seem like a place I'd want to chill. D tier. Bar with no name. as a person who doesn't really partake, you know, a bar, not really, but it's the least power, so maybe everyone there is straight edge. Also, Mr. Negative can win that one, and I love Mr. Negative. So if bar with no name is from the Mr. Negative universe, it's an S, but I don't know if that's true, so it's only an A. Baxter Building. I don't know what this is. Whoever's winning here gets 3 power at other locations. It was one of the best feature locations because it didn't change the whole dynamic of the game, so it has that going for it. But on the downside, I don't know who Baxter is or why this is his building. And it's just, I don't really like cities. This is D tier. I'm not a fan of cities. Central Park, speaking of not a fan of cities, Central Park being the only non-city place in a city actually has a bonus. But it adds a squirrel to each location, and, you know, like, on the one side, that's kind of cool, but on the other side, I lose a bunch of games to Central Park. But I do, like, real Central Park I would chill in, and I assume that this is just like that Central Park, but mythical for some reason. So it's an A. It's an A, but it's not an S. All right, cloning vats. Cloning is super cool. Internally, I don't know. Again, like, I'm not sure where this is from. Externally, so it doesn't help. But, you know, when you play decks like mine, cloning vats, super cool, right? The idea of cloning, you know, if you ever watch the Venture Bros, there's cloning in that, and it's really neat. It's a great plot point, even defined by its absence. But hang on, whoa. Actually, I don't want to get cloned. It would be weird if there was another D running around. D tier, not a fan, actually. Crimson Cosmos, this looks like hell in a literal sense. D tier. Danger Room. All right, I am down to gamble on the Danger Room, right? The Danger Room destroys 25% of all the cards that get put into it at random. And I kind of like that because it wins me games I'm not supposed to win, but it loses me games I'm not supposed to lose. But, you know, 25%, like, of all, you know, you have to think about it in terms of the whole of the universe, the Marvel universe. Only having a 25% chance to die as a normal person is pretty good. I feel like normal people have not a great track record in superhero comics. You know, they're just like superheroes just smashing each other, like, you know, through a whole city and like destroying everything. That's got to be a pretty high mortality rate. Danger Room is actually probably one of the safer places to be, if anything. Dark Dimension. Your cards are not revealed until the end of the game. I am a fan of the Dark Dimension. As I say, the Unseen Wonger is the most dangerous. I don't really know. I don't know what this amounts to in real life, but the vibes are off. It's not as bad as like getting cloned or going to actual hell, but it's not great. All right, Death's Domain. I know what you're thinking. It has to be. You are destroyed if you go to Death's Domain. The vibes can't be good. But Bucky Barnes comes back as the Winter Soldier. So if you see yourself as a Buckingham Barnabas, then maybe Death's Domain is the right pet lizard for you. Honestly, at least as good vibes as Asgard, right? That's like, I don't know. I love the Deathwave deck. Death's Domain obviously destroying cards. Oh yeah, I guess we fell off the bandwagon of flavor really, really quickly. Death's Domain destroying cards is very flavorful. Let's give it a B on that merit alone. All right, back to places I have no rightly idea about. District X. Replace your deck with random cards. This is horrible. And even if the vibes were on, the vibe would be randomized when you enter District X. So I have my eyes closed. We're gonna randomize the vibe. All right. All right. It's an S. Okay. It's an S tier because you randomize the vibes in District X. So it's S right now. All right. Dream Dimension. On turn 5, all cards cost 1 more. That's terrible. I hate it. I want my dreams to be reality. I don't want my dreams to be memes. And if they cost 1 more, that's probably what's going to happen. D tier. Absolute D tier. Ego. All right, okay. This is one I know. Like, I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm therefore a professional at understanding what ego is. I don't know why they use this art on this location instead of the art where he has massive purple titties, which is the usual card art. So that's weird that this one uses a different art. But ego takes over and plays your cards for you. I think he plays your vibes for you too. And I think, you know, with him in charge, he'd put himself in S tier for the vibes. So I think that's the only right way to judge this one. And no, you know what? A tier doesn't have the giant purple cleavage. A tier would be S tier if they used his regular card art, but they use this weird one. Elysium, cards cost 1 less. This lets you negative on turn 3, which is always great, but doesn't really affect the Death Wave deck very well. But what? Okay, so this begs an important question. What do the cards mean in Marvel Snap? It's very it's very ephemeral of a question. But like in Magic the Gathering, you're a wizard who's like casting spells. Your deck represents the total like plethora of places which you have visited and the knowledge you can draw upon all the spells you've learned. The cards in your hand represent your current like mind, what's on your mind, what spells you are going to attempt to cast. So when someone makes you discard, they're like psionically attacking your mind and making you forget things. And when, you know, all that. I don't know what Marvel Snap is. I don't know. Are we like a team of superheroes and villains fighting each other? What does discarding mean then? What does destroying someone's deck mean? You like killed that character off screen? That's kind of funny, but I don't know what reducing cost is like why. I don't really understand why heroes can't show up until 4 energy or 5. Like, I know why it makes sense from a gameplay standpoint, but I have no rightly idea what the fantasy of the game is. So I don't know how to judge Elysium, but it looks really pretty, and it looks like a place I might want to hang out. Although, again, like the comments might be like, oh, Elysium is where you get fucking humans get murdered all the time. It happens constantly, and you're stupid for doing this. But I'm gonna call it an A tier. That look, it's like prime untouched land. Grand Central, I hate cities. I've lived near New York specifically, and have been to Grand Central multiple times, and it's awful. It's sensory overload. Like, there's just so many people jammed so tightly, and they all seem like they know where they're going, and you don't, because you're not from New York, you're just visiting. So you're like in everyone's way all the time. D tier. I suppose something arriving there on turn 5. All right. It's kind of flavorful, right? Like Spider-Man just took the train into Grand Central is something. It's something. It's not great. All right. Hala is, turn 4, destroy the person who's losing, destroy their hopes and dreams, which I do love. Don't know what universe this is from. So again, difficult. This is all vibes based, as most of these have been, repeatedly. I thought I knew more of these right until the moment that I started this. Alien planet where everything's getting destroyed. C tier. It's not as bad as actual hell or the existential crisis of a clone running around, but it's pretty bad. Hellfire Club, this was a bunch of my favorite rappers started the Hellfire Club and then disbanded and beefed with each other for a while. S tier. Isle of Silence, ongoing effects are disabled. I didn't even say what Hellfire Club did. Hellfire Club releases the best rap albums of the year. That's what that location does. Isle of Silence, ongoing effects are disabled. Great, because you can't get Cosmo here. A little worse because you can't Wong, so the Cosmo hardly matters. Isle of Silence, you know, when I'm not on YouTube just talking for an hour straight, I am like a pretty quiet person. A whole Isle of Silence sounds at least neat. B tier. Jotunheim. I assume this is a Thor thing as well, based only on the fact that they have an Asgard. They probably have a Jotunheim too. Cards here lose 1 power every turn. If I were a card, would already have very low power. So I don't know how fun that would be. Yeah. You know, it's just the vibes are not good. The vibes are not good in Jotunheim. Kamartage, on reveal effects happen twice at this location. What that really means is Cosmo happens once at this location and then you don't have any fun. So bad vibes. Bad vibes. Although it is like, it looks like a peaceful mountain retreat. Although then it would probably have like wooks or hippies. Is it C or is it D? You know what? I'm being pretty hard on these. So we're going to go C because I didn't realize how full this D tier was. All right. Clintar. Cards here have -2 power. Wait, is that right? I don't think that's the effect of Clintar. I thought Clintar, they all formed into a symbiote on turn 4. Am I wrong? I'm pretty sure this actually just has the wrong text. But either way, having -2 power or being formed into a symbiote is negative ASMR. Okay, Nowhere. I just learned where this was because of, again, comic tropes who I've referenced and who I will probably remember to link in the description. This is a Guardians of the Galaxy thing. This is like their home base or something. I don't know. No, I've just learned it and only barely. But here's the thing. On reveal effects don't happen at this location. The Guardians of the Galaxy within this game, canonically, all have on reveal effects. So what? Is this like a joke? Are they useless on their home turf? Is this all like very meta humor? If so, A tier, but I don't think that's the case. C tier. Kunlun, when a card moves here, give it +2 power. This is a Benedict Cumberbatch thing. I always forget his name. Sorcerer Supreme, what's his name? Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. And he moves cards when he enters the battlefield, so this flavorfully makes some amount of sense. I don't know how much sense it makes for him to like be able to move heroes around in like the universe, but it's something. So it's got some flavor going for it. Again, it's got like the mountain aesthetic, like a retreat from, you know, the world, but then it also can be like, you know, hippies or whatever. So B tier. Kiln. This is another Guardians thing. This one makes way more sense than Nowhere though, right? Because you can't play cards here after turn 4. So again, the Guardians of the Galaxy do the on reveal. If your opponent played a card here, something happens, and Kiln is like incentivizing your opponent to play cards there. So it makes it easier for them to guess where your opponent is going to play. So that's like a flavor win. More so than their seeming home base is like the jail they were in being flavorful. That seems weird, right? But also it is a space prison, and I am against all prisons, space or otherwise, so it's got to be C tier. Only because the vibes are terrible, but the flavor is somewhat there. Lechuga? When you play a card here, shuffle 3 rocks into your deck. I don't know what this is from, and I don't want rocks in my deck, which I don't know what that represents, but it, you know, in Magic it would be like in your brain, and I don't want rocks in my brain. I already have rocks in my brain. That's a D. Lemuria, cards are not revealed this turn. It looks Atlantean in nature, and I guess it works with like Atuma. It gives you 1 extra turn to put armor down for exactly that 1 card. So that's something. But also, cards are not revealed is just like the worst effect, and this doesn't look like a fun place to be. Honestly, there's not a lot of places in the universe that look that fun, now that I'm thinking about it. A C tier. Limbo. I'm very bad at it, but I do love the game Limbo, so that's a bonus. There's a turn 7 this game. That's cool. That's actually usually pretty fun. I don't know why Magic does this, but I don't know a lot of things about Marvel. So let's say S tier because Limbo is a fun game. Los Diablos base, destroy one of the other locations. You know, it's the middle of the desert, which isn't great for me. I'm very pale. I burn easily, and I don't like being sweaty. But based on the fact that we have so many like C and D tier locations, turning one of them to ruins is actually a bonus, right? So the vibes are like, I would chill out in the desert if it meant blowing up Kiln with a missile. You know, like I could be down with that, with some you know, stoic terrorism. I can't wait for that clip to show up when I run for president. I would never. Ugh. All right, Mindscape. At the start of your turn, at the start of turn 6, swap hands. So, again, does that mean that me and my opponent have like different memories now? Am I gonna forget like my wife? That is an absolute D tier vibe. Not a fan. Miniaturized lab. On turn 3, 4, and 5, no cards can be added here. Now that says added, not played. I really like that. The difference, if you don't know, is you can play cards at if you play Dr. Doom at a location, he adds Doombots to the other 2 locations. But because the lab has been miniaturized, the Doombots obviously can't fit in there. It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense that a Doombot couldn't get into the miniaturized lab. I feel like I'm saying that word weird. Miniaturized. So flavor. Mwah. Chef's kiss flavor. But if you don't know this about me, I am 750 pounds in real life. D. Can't fit into I can't fit into a regular sized lab. I sure can't fit into a miniaturized lab. Mirror dimension. It just becomes one of the other. It becomes another vibe on turn 4. And because the vibes are on average bad, this is on average bad. Mojo World. Whoever has more cards here gets plus 100 power. That's quite the thing, right? The thing is, I really like Mojo as a card. I don't know who he is as a character. He's probably a villain because he's kind of like fat and stuff. And you know how they write fat like people to be villains. He's probably queer too, honestly. They love doing that to us. But you know what? I vibe with the villain aesthetic. So S tier. You know, we are into this. The vibes are right in Mojo World. Monster Island, both players get plus a beast with 9 power, a monster. I don't remember what it's called, but it has 9 power. So functionally, you and your opponent just have 3 slots because, like, you both already got the 9 power. It does change some other things. You can get Shang-Chi'd. You can, like, you know, but there's a parity to it, and it doesn't fill up the rest of the board. Monsters are scary, though. But again, like, you know, it seems like a relaxing tropical island besides the one monster. So, B tier. Monster Metropolis. The biggest creature here gets plus 3 power. Metropolis is what gets, it's the Metropolis for me. That's a city. That's another name for a city, and I don't like cities, and I don't like monsters. D tier. That's our second row of D tier. I didn't expect this. What an absolute, this changes everything. All right, Mur Island. Each turn, cards here get +1 power. I am really bad at playing into Mur Island, but it's actually seems like kind of chill, right? Like, yeah, it's like a stormy. I really like thunderstorms, and it looks like there's a thunderstorm happening, and then it's like a remote like island, and it's kind of science-y and kind of remote. The vibes have it. B tier. I think a place called Murder World is self-explanatory. D tier. Murder World, absolutely not. Negative Zone, that's just being online. That's just Facebook. D tier. New York City, D tier. It's at least it's like a city that I'm maybe not going to be like obliterated at down to my atoms, so C tier, I guess. Nidvalier, is that I thought Nidvalier was different. Cards here have +5 power. So, like, you know, this has to be a Thor thing too, right? Like, that sounds like, you know, Asgard, Jotunheim, Nidvalier. And at this point, it's making me question my sanity, because I don't know what Thor is anymore. Like, I don't know what... I could just be wrong. This could just be not a Thor thing. Alright, strictly vibes only. I don't know, it's like a C tier, right? Like, it's lava. It's like a lava planet. But you get +5 power for being there, so maybe it's not all bad. Maybe it's like a really hardcore gym. That's probably D tier for me, but alright. Nova Roma. Draw a card. What? Like, what is Nova Roma? Like, that's the most generic effect. Both players just draw 1 card. We're going to Olympia next, which is both players just draw 2 cards. I'll say if those are on the same universe, or like, they kind of look the same, right? Maybe they're like in the same jungle. That's something. That's cool. It is a jungle, which is cool. I've made it pretty clear that, you know, I am a jungle enjoyer. So let's go like B tier for Nova Roma and like A tier for Olympia, because it just draws you 1 more card. So the vibes got to be better, right? Onslaught Citadel. I know Onslaught is a villain because of old cartoons, but the Citadel is pretty lit. Again, in a jungle, your ongoing effects are doubled, you know, like if you can, you know, if you have a Wong, you know, I love Wong. I love Wong. And it's in a jungle, and I love Wong. S tier. Good enough vibes. You know, honestly, the villain thing we've said doesn't really, yeah, it's fine. All right, Sakaar, both players put a card here, right? Put a card from each player's hand here. Yeah, I don't know. That's... What does this represent? You, like manifesting an Iron Man out of no, like, I guess there's portals in the art. Like, does Sakaar force people to teleport to it? Maybe? If that's the case, it's C tier. And if not, the portal saved it. Because it seems like there might be some flavor going on here. Sanctum Sanctorum, I'm pretty sure is another Benedict Cumberbatch thing. I don't know why cards can't be played here, but like a squirrel could sneak in for some reason. But it also has a basketball in the art, and I don't like basketball at all, so D tier. Though it does also look like a library, and I like libraries, so C tier. Savage Land. It is a jungle, but it adds 2 raptors to each side. But I guess if we're not afraid of... Where did I put... Where did I put the monster island? Alright, if we're not afraid of the 9 power monster, we're not afraid of 2 1 power raptors. B tier. Sewer system. This is the height of all flavor in this game, and I will not stop talking about it. Cards here have -1 power. What that means is that if you put Lizard here, Lizard has an effect where if your opponent has 4 cards in this location, Lizard gets -3 power. So, Lizard would get -1 from Sewer System, and then -3 from your opponent filling the lane against you. So, Lizard would have -4 total, but your opponent has put 4 cards here, so they also get -4 total, which puts Lizard on the same playing field as the 4 cards. The total amount of power reduced is the same on your side and their side, but you only played 1 and they played 4. That is the most flavorful flavor win. It's a really low bar, but it really is the best that Marvel Snap is doing right now. So, A tier, because I don't want to hang out in a sewer. Also, a sewer would definitely give you -1 power. But I don't want to hang out in a sewer, so it loses points on vibe. Shadowland, add a ninja to each side with -2 power. Ninjas are cool. Like, why does a ninja have why does a raptor have 1 power, but a ninja has -2? Surely one ninja could take on 1 raptor, right? Like, especially in the Marvel universe, ninjas got to be OP. Raptors they're just raptors. Like, they really exist. They were chickens, right? They were just really big chickens. All that being said, I'm also like a weeb, so I like ninjas, you know, like Ninja Scroll is a sick movie. A tier. It's not S tier, but it's A tier. But you know what? I vibe with having -2 power. S tier. Sinister London. I assume has something to do with Mr. Sinister because it makes copies. I don't know the London part. Like, I don't know. I like the vibes of this place a lot. I don't know why, because I don't like cloning vats, and this is functionally the same as cloning vats in a different way. But there's something like mysterious and Victorian, and I vibe with that. So it's going to beat cloning vats, but it's not going to go too high, because again, I don't want a clone of me like wandering around. It's just an existential nightmare. You know, I don't have the philosophy levels to deal with that. Sokovia, discard a card from each player's hand. That again, I don't know how to quantify this. Does it make you forget about someone? There's that guy, their hero Forget-Me-Not. Is this a reference to that? I don't know, because I don't know if we're like the cards in our hand represent our active memories. This is terrifying if that's what that is. You've just forgotten about one of your colleagues. D tier. Terrible. Stark Tower, after turn 5, give all cards here +2 power. I know Iron Man getting plus power is good because it's worth double. Iron Heart gives +2 when she enters to a bunch of different things. And Stark Tower giving +2 vibes with that, right? Like, so that's something. That being said, Iron Man is A-cab, C tier. Starlight Citadel, after turn 4, swap the location of each, swap the position of each location, which is a goofy way of saying this. So on turn 4, all the locations swap. This is another unknown vibe, because you don't know if you show up at Starlight Citadel, after turn 4, it won't be Starlight Citadel anymore, it'll be something else. And since the last one got randomed into S, we're gonna not random this one into D tier. You need to know what vibe you're going into. And you can't with Starlight Citadel and District X. You just can't. And I don't vibe with not knowing the vibe. Strange Academy, on turn 5, move all the cards here somewhere else. So I guess you get kicked out when you turn a certain age? Is that what's going on at Strange Academy? That's kind of flavorful, right? For an academy, like you graduate and you go on to do some other things. That's kind of cool. Oh, Doctor Strange moves things. And this is probably the Benedict Cumberbatch characters, Doctor Strange. I just remembered because Strange Academy. And he moves things, and Strange Academy moves things. But school sucks, I know. So, B tier. It's not the worst place to be, but it's not great. Subterranea, again, adds rocks to your head. No thank you. Not a fan. The Bifrost, again, has to be a Thor thing, because it's the Bifrost. Like, we all know that it has to be a Thor thing, because it's Jotunheim, and it's Asgard, and it's the Bifrost. But this one moves everyone one location to the right. To the left. To the left? I thought it moved... so this says to the left? But I'm pretty sure it's to the right, and Heimdall is to the left. I'm pretty sure. I didn't make this. This was a pre-made template, which is why it's missing stuff, because I'm a professional. I would never miss anything. I don't think it matters for what we're doing. I prefer when people move to the left for political reasons. So the Bifrost moving people to the right. This is the PewDiePie to Nazi pipeline. D tier. The worst of the D tiers. The big house. That's a euphemism for prison. I don't know if that's what it means in this world, but in our world, that's what it means. 4, 5, and 6 cost cards can't be played here. But it's a big house. Certainly 4, 5, and 6 are the biggest things. They should be in the biggest house. So flavor fail and vibe check fail. The Hub, automatically an S. As I've mentioned before, there's a pizza place called The Hub in the town that I live. S tier. It's a really good pizza. My buddy works there. He's a really great guy. Makes really great pizza. The Icebox makes 1 card in your hand cost 1 more, which is also what Iceman does. Instantly flavorful. Anything relating to ice making cards cost more is something, and I appreciate it. That being said, I hate playing against Iceman, and this is just an extra version of that. And no, I do like it cold though. My wife complains that we sleep in a meat locker, but I like it that way. So A tier, honestly. You get to wear a lot of extra blankets in the icebox, in the meat locker, which is our bedroom. The Space Throne. Only 1 card can be played here for each player. So the Space Throne, I think, is a Thanos thing. Like an older Thanos thing, right? I don't know how much it played. I didn't see it in the promo material for, like, the new Marvel stuff. So I don't know if it's still his thing particularly. But the thing is, Thanos is what? A 6/18 if you collect all the Infinity Stones, which is pretty big, but it's, like, not as big as the Infinite. And I think that's a flavor fail. Like the Space Throne should reward you for having the biggest card, but Thanos, who is the Space Throne guy, isn't the biggest card? I don't know. Also, you know, it's a lonely throne in the middle of space, so it doesn't pass the vibe check. I am a pretty solitary person, so it's not a D, but it's not higher than a C. The Super Flow is gonna get S tier because it reminds me of an MF Doom line. the Super Flow, more jokes than Bazooka Joe, mixed between it doesn't matter. It's an S tier because it reminds me of my favorite rapper. So that's it. That's the vibe. It's a great effect. If you don't have any cards there, you get +1 energy is the effect. If you care. I don't know why. You shouldn't, at this point, 38 minutes into the recording, you shouldn't be like, yes, I'm tuning in to learn about the locations or their effects or whatever. You should have understood what we're doing by this point. But I guess I'm gonna pretend that this is informative. The Vault. You can't play cards there on turn 6. Notably, it doesn't say on the last turn, because if there's a limbo, the vault will reopen. I don't know if that's flavorful or not, but it only says turn 6, and then it reopens, and I feel like it would be easy for game designers to have that as like an oversight. They would have it like it closes on the end of 5 and it doesn't reopen, but the fact that it does exactly what it says is nice. Like it's you can't take for granted that that's the case. So that's something. But then it doesn't really make sense. Like, you know, I feel like the flavor is that the vault is closing forever. Why would you reopen a vault? I don't know. In normal circumstances, you don't, but then in Limbo, you do. Anyway, the vibe isn't great anyway. What am I even arguing about? I don't want to chill in a vault. That sounds terrible. Tinker's Workshop, +1 energy this turn. I'm somewhat of a tinkerer. I vibe with tinkering. You know? That's a solid B, right? Chillin', tinkering, absolutely. Titan, 6 cost cards, costs 1 less. You know, that, what is it? What is Titan? Titanic things are big, and this makes big things cost less. That's something. Yeah, it's kind of pomp and circumstances. C tier. TVA, the game ends on turn 4 instead of 6 or 7. This is tough. You know, I like late game decks a lot. This is tough. This is tough. This is the most abstract we've gotten yet, I think. You know, at least with Limbo, I had a joke to make. I don't even have a joke here. Oh, you know what? It's not a joke, but the time's up. The audio clip that plays at TVA is pretty darling. I think that clock is probably queer, so B tier. Wakanda, cards here can't be destroyed. You know how much I love destroying cards. This is tough. But a non-colonized, you know, fountain of hope for I don't know. But cards can't be destroyed. Although, okay, Vibranium. Is Vibranium Mine here? Oh, is that no? Wakandan Embassy is not. Vibranium Mine isn't even here. What the hell? All right, Vibranium Mine, which I know is a Wakanda thing. I say I know. I'm pretty sure. Adds 1 cost 4 power Vibraniums to your deck when you play there, and those are indestructible. And Wakanda can't be destroyed, so that's kind of flavorful. But then, the best thing to do with Black Panther is Arnim Zola, which requires Black Panther to be destroyed. So that's a flavor fail. But for colonization reasons, you know, it's a B. It's a B. I would chill in Wakanda, I think. Wakandan Emissary, give +2 power to cards in each player's hand. Okay, so this oh, we don't have Shuri's Lab either. So Wakandan Embassy gives +2 power to cards in hand. Black Panther doubles his power when he enters. So having him get +2 power is actually worth +4. So that's cool. That's chill. B tier. Same thing. Washington, D.C. D tier, no further explanation. Weird World. Draw from your opponent's deck. Like, does this mean that, you know, again, like, do I forget who my wife is in Weird World? I think I do, and I think that's a D tier. I like my friends. I like my life. I don't want someone else's life. Get out of here. Westview turns into a new location on turn 4. We've already randomed one of the random vibes into S and one into D. So this one gets B just because it's the middle, right? But it's a random vibe, and we can't vibe with random vibes. All right, World Ship destroys the other 2 locations. This is Galactus, right? But Galactus, like, I thought Galactus just, like, chilled. He just walked around space or whatever. He didn't have a ship, right? He's not on the world ship. Or is he? Is that a thing? I've never seen him in a ship. I've always seen him literally just, like, walking through space, eating planets. So what is the world ship if not Galactus's ship? Because Galactus does that in game. I don't know, but destroying planets, that's cop shit. That's a D tier. Absolutely not. We don't destroy planets here. All right, last two, because this is an incomplete list. X Mansion. On turn 3, add a random card here for each player. This should be different. This should only add a random X-Man. X-Man? I don't know. The fact that it can add any card here, including, like, the Destroyer or, like, Ultron or something, I don't know. Those people didn't go to the X-Mansion, right? Like, I mean, maybe? I'm sure, I guess, given enough iterations, every Marvel character will have been, like, in the X-Men at some point. But, like, I don't know. I would even take Juggernaut, right? Because of the cartoon. Something. But, like, any card can get added to X-Mansion on turn 3. And I feel like that's missing something. Now, the X-Men are very, very queer, right? They're just like a queer polycule chilling in the X-Mansion. So that's something. But it could be something more. So B tier. Xandar, cards here have +1 power. I don't know what a Xandar is. I cannot judge it. And it looks like it's kind of a lonely space station. C tier. Now, this was missing a bunch of locations, but the video is already 45 minutes long, so I'm just going to cover the fact that that Collapsed Mine would be in A tier only for flavor, okay? Collapsed Mine adds 4 rocks to both players' sides, and then, if you take a turn off, the rocks are destroyed. You mined out the rocks. That's sweet. Like, that's very flavorful. And the Rickety Bridge would be A tier, based on flavor alone. I don't want to chill in a Collapsed Mine or on a Rickety Bridge, but that's really good flavor. The Rickety Bridge, at the end of each turn, if there's more than one card here, destroy all the cards. The bridge collapses because your fat ass and someone else's fat ass are both on it. That's A tier flavor. Great job. I wish they'd stop putting in locations that destroyed things, but I'll take it. I'll take it for the flavor reasons. All right, that's it. That's the whole video. Thank you for watching and enjoying, and I will see you tomorrow with hopefully a really cool deck tech that you haven't seen before. Have a great day. Bye.